learners, in today's video we are going to learn about data control language. First I will explain the structure of the data control language, then we will see the explanation part about the data control language. So this is how the structure of the data control language will look like. In this I got a local connection, and inside this I got an employee table which is located inside the company database, and this is Steve connection. For example purpose only I have taken Steve. You can give any name of your friend or a colleague name you can give. For example purpose only I am giving as Steve. So if you want to give permission to Steve means we can able to give permission to Steve through DCL commands. Once the permission has been given means now Steve can able to access this employee table and modify this particular employee table. After some time, if I want to take back the permission from Steve means I can able to take back the particular permission from Steve through DCL commands. Once the permission has been taken means Steve can't able to access this particular employee table, and he can't able to modify this employee table. So that's how the structure of the data control language will works. Through DCL commands, we will be giving permission, and after giving the permission, Steve can able to access this particular employee table, and he can make changes in this employee table. And if you want to take back the permission from Steve means we can able to take back through DCL commands. And once the permission has been taken back, he can't able to access this particular employee table and make changes in this employee table. So this is how the structure of the data control language will work. Now we will learn the explanation part about the data control language. So the data control language is also known as DCL. So now I will explain this part of the explanation through this diagram. So this diagram we have already seen. This is the structure of the data control language diagram. So through this diagram I will explain this part. So as I said earlier, through DCL command, we can able to give permission to particular user so that the user can able to access and modify the particular table node. So after some time, if you want to take back the permission from this user means that also can be done through DCL command. Once the permission has been taken back, uh, this particular user can't able to access this table, and he can't able to make changes in this table. So this is what I have explained here. Through detail commands, we can able to give permission to the user, so the user can able to access and modify the table, and also we can able to take back the permission from the user, so the user can't able to access and modify the table. Now I will switch to MySQL bench. In MySQL bench, I'm going to work with employee table, which is located inside the company database. So if I want to work with this employee table means first thing I need to select this company database. So if you want to select a database means the command we need to use is use database name. So instead of database name, I'm going to use company database. I'm executing this query by using Control plus Enter key. Now the company database has been selected. So first I will show what are all the data that are present inside this employee table. Then we will continue with the further step. So if you want to retrieve all the data from the table means the command we need to use is select star from table name. So instead of table name, I need to use employee table. So I'm using employee table. And I'm executing this query by using a Control plus Enter key. These are the details that are present inside this employee table. So I'm going to give permission to Steve to access this particular employee table. So if you want to give permission to Steve means first thing we need to create a Steve connection. Then only we can able to give permission to Steve, or if you want to take back the permission from Steve means we can able to take back the permission from Steve. So first we need to create this Steve connection now. So So if you want to create a new connection means I'm switching to my floor bench and I'm closing this table. Now if you want to create a new connection means go to server and select users and privileges. Now the new tab will be open and in this click on add account and in the login name text box. Since I'm going to create a new connection with the name Steve now, so I am giving the name as Steve and I am giving some password for Steve and I am typing the same password again in the confirm password text box and we need to click on apply. Now the Steve connection has been created. Now I am closing this tab. Now this is my local connection and I need to open a Steve connection also after this local connection. So if you want to open a Steve connection means then we need to go to database and select connect to database. And in the store connection drop down, we need to have Steve connection. Then only we can able to connect to this particular database. So we need to add Steve in this drop down now. So if you want to add Steve in this particular drop down means we need to go to database and select manage connection. Click on new connection name text box. I need to type as Steve. Username I'm giving as Steve. And I need to click on test connection. Now click on OK. Now close. Now we will check whether the Steve connection has been added in the stored connection dropdown or not. So if you want to go to stored connection dropdown, go to database and select connect to database. Now in the stored connection, we can able to see Steve. Before we can able to only see the local instance connection. Now we can able to see Steve. So select Steve from this drop down and click on OK. Now Steve connection tab has been opened next to local connection. Now this is my local connection and this is Steve connection. Now we have created Steve connection and we have already have the local connection. And inside this, we have created this employee table and these are all the data that are present inside this employee table. Now we can able to give permission to Steve since we have created Steve connection. So we can able to give permission to Steve. Now we will learn how to give permission to Steve and how to take back the permission from Steve and all. Now we will learn about the commands in DCL. In DCL, there are two commands are there. The first command is grant command and the second command is revoke command. First, we will learn about grant command, then we will learn about the revoke command. First, the grant command will give permission to the user to access the table which is present inside a database. As I said earlier, through DCL commands, we can able to give permission to the user node. So the DCL command which will use to give permission is grant command. So through this command only, we can able to give permission to Steve so that he can able to access and modify this particular table. So the DCL command to give permission is grant command. In grant command, there are three types are there. First type is giving single privilege to the user. Second type is giving multiple privilege to the user. And the third type is giving all privilege to the user. First, we will learn about the first type, giving single privilege to the user. The syntax for giving single privilege to the user is grant, since we are using grant command. No. So we need to use grant privilege name on object name to username. Instead of privilege name, we can give any commands like create command, select command, or insert command, alter command, delete command, or drop command, or truncate, or update command. We need to give any one command only. We should not give all the commands. We need to give any one command from this list of commands. And instead of object name, we need to give table name. And instead of username, we need to give the user for who we are going to give permission. In our case, since we are going to give permission to Steve, no. So instead of username, we'll be giving Steve. For your case, you can give any of your teammate name or friend's name. Now I'm switching to MySQL bench. Since I'm going to work with grand command now. So I'm giving the title as grand command, and in this I'm going to work with type one now. So I'm giving the title as type one, giving single privilege to the user. So what I'm going to do is, since instead of privilege name, we can give any commands from this list now. So I'm going to give a select privilege to C. So I'm going to give a select privilege to the user C. So if you want to give a single privilege to a particular user means the command we need to use is grant privilege name on object name to user name. So since we are going to give a select privilege to Steve node, so instead of privilege name I need to use select. For Steve I'm going to give permission to access this particular employee table now. So instead of table name, I need to give employee table. Since they are going to give permission to Steve, no. So instead of username, I'm giving a Steve. So before exiting the query, first we will check whether Steve can able to access this particular employee table or. So if you want to check that means I'm switching to Steve connection. So in Steve connection, first thing I am going to do is I'm going to check whether I can able to select company database from Steve connection. So if you want to select a database means the command is use database name and insert database name. I'm using company database. So I'm executing this query by using control plus enter key. Now in the output we can clearly see the access. It is showing like access denied for Steve to the company database. So we have checked whether Steve can able to access this particular table or not. So it is clear that Steve can't able to access this particular database itself. Once he can able to access this database, then only he can able to access this table which is present inside the database. No, so he can't able to access this database itself. So how can he access this table? But let us check whether he can able to access this particular table or not. So I'm copying this story. So if you want to retrieve all the data from the table names, the command is select star from table name, and instead of table name, I'm using employee table. So I'm exiting this query by using control plus enter. Now in the output, we can clearly see it is showing like no database is selected. Select the database first. Since we are not at selected database now, when we try to select the database itself, it is showing error no. So it is confirmed that Steve don't have the permission to access this employee table. Now I am switching to local connection. Now I am exiting this query. The query has been executed successfully. Now we will check whether Steve can able to access this database and table. Before he can't able to access this database, now we will check. I'm exiting this query by using control plus enter. Now the query has been executed successfully. In the out, here we can able to clearly see the company database has been selected. And now I will try to retrieve all the data from the employee table by using this query. And I'm executing this query by using control plus enter key. Now in the output, we can clearly see it has retrieve all the data from the employee table. Now from the local connection, we have given permission to Steve. Now Steve can able to access this employee table. Now this first type in grant command is over, giving single privilege to the user. Now we will learn the second type in grant command, giving multiple privilege to the user. The syntax for giving multiple privilege to the user is grant privilege name 1, comma privilege name 2, on object name 2 username. Where privilege name 1 and privilege name 2 should be different name. Instead of privilege name, we can give any commands like select, create, or insert, or alter, delete, drop, truncate, or update. But we should give any one command from this. Instead of privilege name 1, we can give create command. Or instead of privilege name 2, we can able to give insert command. But we need to give different name for both privilege name. And for object name, we can give a table name. And instead of username, we need to give the user for who we are giving the function. In our case, since we are going to give function to Steve, no. So instead of username, we are going to use Steve. And instead of object name, we need to use table name, no. So instead of table name, we are going to use employee table. Now I am switching to MySQL bench. Since we are going to learn about type 2 in grant command, so I am doing the title as giving multiple privilege to the user. So I am going to give insert and update privilege to Steve. So the query we need to use to give multiple privilege to the user Steve is grant privilege name 1, command privilege name 2 on object name to username. So this is the syntax for giving multiple privilege to the user. Since we are going to give insert and update privilege to Steve now. So instead of privilege name 1, I'm giving as insert privilege. Instead of privilege name 2, I'm using update command. Instead of object name, since we are going to give permission to Steve to access this employee table now. So instead of object name, I'm using employee table. Since we are going to give permission to Steve now, so instead of username, I'm giving access Steve. So before exiting this query, first we will check whether Steve can able to insert a data or update a data in the employee table or. So if you want to check that means I'm switching to MySQL workbench. In this, I will try to insert a data in employee table. So if you want to insert a data in a table means the query we need to use is insert into table name, and instead of table name, I'm using an employee table. values. First, we will check what are all the data that are present inside the employee table. So these are all the data that are present in employee table. So employee table got three columns: employee ID, employee name, and employee designation. So if I create a new data, means I need to add these three values inside these three columns. So I'm going to create an employee with the employee ID 508 and the name of the employee is Blake and the designation of employee is junior software engineer. Now I will try to execute this query by using control plus enter key. In the output, we can clearly see it is showing that insert command is denied to the user Steve. Since we have not given permission to Steve to access this employee table, no. So that's why it is showing this error. Now we will check whether Steve can able to update the data in this employee table or during the title is updating data in the employee table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the designation of Scott from software engineer to senior software engineer. So this is what I'm going to update. So if you want to update a data in a table means the command we need to use is update table name, and instead of table name I'm using employee table. Set column name. Since I'm going to change the designation of Scott from software engineer to senior software engineer now. So this is present inside the employee designation column now. So instead of column name, I need to use employee designation, and I'm going to change to senior software engineer. Where column name equal to unique data. Since I'm going to change the designation of Scott, no. So the unique data for Scott is employee ID, and the so instead of column name, I need to give as employee ID. So instead of unique data, I need to give as 507. Now I'm exiting this query by using control plus enter key. Now in the output, it is clearly showing that update command is denied to Steve. Since we have not given permission to Steve to update or insert a data in the employee table, so that's why it is showing this error. Once we have given permission means I don't show this error. So I'm switching to local connection. Now I'm exiting this query by using control plus enter key. Now we have given insert and update privilege to Steve. Now we will check whether Steve can able to insert data in the employee table or he can able to update the data in the table. Now I'm exiting this query by using control plus enter key. Now the new data has been inserted in the employee table. If you want to check whether the data has been inserted in the employee table or not, means if I retrieve all the data from the employee table, means there we can able to check whether the new data is added or so the command to retrieve all the data from the employee table is this. Uh, so I'm copying this and pasting it here. Now I'm exiting this query. Now in the output, we can clearly see before there is no Blake data. Now the Blake data has been added in the employee table. So this is what we have added. Employee ID 508, the name is Blake, and definition is senior software engineer. This data has been added in the employee table. Now we will check whether he can able to Steve can able to update data in the employee table. Now the actual designation of Scott is software engineer. Now we are going to update Scott designation from software engineer to senior software engineer. So for that I am executing this query. Now the query has been executed successfully. Now we will check whether it has been updated in the employee table or not. Now in the output, we can clearly see before the uh, designation of Scott as software engineer, now it has been updated to senior software engineer. Since we have given permission to Steve no to insert the data and the updated data in the employee table. So that's why Steve can able to insert the data and update the data in this particular employee table. If we haven't given the permission, means we can't able to do these changes in the employee table. So now the type 2 is over. Now we will learn about the type 3 in grant command, which is giving all privileges to the user. Now the type 3 is giving all privileges to the user. The syntax to give all privileges to the user is grant all on object name to username. In this all means in one shot we can able to give all the privileges to the particular user. Before and all we are giving single command to the particular user now. We have given insert update privileges to the user now. And before that, we have given select privilege to a particular user now. So if we have applied all means, we can give all the privileges to the particular user in one shot. So that's what all means. Instead of object name, we need to give table name. So in our case, the employee table is the object name. Instead of username, we need to give the user for who we are going to give permission. In our case, it is Steve. Steve is the username. So now I'm switching to MySQL bench. Since I'm going to work with type 3, giving all privilege to the user in grant command. So I'm giving the title as giving all privilege to the user. To the user is Steve. So the command we need to use is grant all on object name to username. This is the syntax for giving all privileges to the user. Since we are going to give employee table permission to Steve, no. So instead of object name, I need to use employee table, and instead of username, I need to use Steve. So before exiting this query, first we will check whether Steve can able to delete the data from the particular employee table. Already we have given select privilege to Steve, so he can able to select the data from the table, and he can able to insert the data in the employee table, and he can able to update the data in the employee table. Now we will check whether Steve can able to delete the data from the employee table or not. Now I am not exiting this query. Before exiting this query, first we will check whether Steve can able to delete the data from the employee table or. So I'm giving the title as deleting a data from the table. So first we will check what are all the data that are present in employee table. Then I will tell which employee data we are going to delete. So these are all the data that are present in employee table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete details of Blake from the employee table. So if you want to delete a data means the command we need to use is delete from table name where column name equal to unique data. Since we are going to delete from employee table, no. So instead of table name, I'm using employee table. Since I'm going to delete details of Blake, no. So instead of column name, I need to use employee ID, and instead of unique data, I need to use the employee ID for Blake. Instead of column name, I need to use employee ID. Instead of unique data, I need to use employee ID of Blake, which is 508. Now I am executing this query by using Control plus Enter key. Now in the output, we can clearly see the delete command is denied to user Steve. Since we have not given all the privileges to Steve. Oh, so that's why it is showing this error in the output. Now Steve can able to only insert the data, update the data, and select the data from the employee table, but he can't able to delete the data from the table. Once we have given permission means he can able to delete the data from the table. So to give a permission, I am exiting this query. Now the query has been executed successfully. Now we will check whether Steve can able to delete Blake data from the employee table or not. Now I'm executing this query. The query has been executed successfully. The Blake data has been deleted. Now we will check whether Blake data is present or not. Now in the output, we can clearly see the Blake data has been deleted from the employee table. Before we have seen Blake data, now the Blake data has been deleted from the employee table. Since we have given all privileges to Steve, no, so that's why he can able to delete data from the employee table. So the type 3 in grant command is over. Now we will learn about revoke command. Revoke command will take back the permission from the user to access the table which is present inside the database. So this is the structure of the data control language. As I said earlier, this is the DCL command. Through this particular DCL command only, we can able to take back the permission from Steve. So after taking by the permission from Steve means he can't able to access this particular employee table and make changes in this employee table. So the DCL command, which is responsible to take back the permission, is revoke command. Through that only we can able to take back the permission. So through this command only we can able to take back the permission. Once the permission has been taken back from Steve, he can't able to access this table and make this table. So that's what I have explained here. Through revoke command, we can able to take back the permission from the user to access this table which is present inside the database. Through grant command, we have given permission to Steve to access this table now. So by using revoke command, we are going to take back the permission from Steve to access this particular table. So in if we take in grant command means there are three types are there in grant command. No. So like that in revoke command also we got three types. Through these three types only we are going to take back the permission from Steve to access and modify the employee table. So now we will see the first type in revoke command. So this is the first type, taking back single privilege from the user. So the syntax for first type is revoke privilege name on object name from username. If you look closer means in grant command we have used grant, but in revoke we have used revoke. And in grant we have used to, but in revoke, since we are going to take back the permission from my user also, we need to use from. So that's the difference between grant and remote. Instead of privilege name, we can give any commands like create, select, insert, alter, delete, drop, truncate, or update. Instead of object name, we can give table name. Instead of username, we need to give for who we are going to take back the permission. In our case, we need to give Steve. From Steve only, we are going to take back the permission. No. So instead of username, we need to give Steve. And instead of object name, we need to give employee table. Now I'm switching to MySQL Workbench. Since I'm going to work with Revoke Command mode, so I'm giving title as Revoke Command. And we are going to learn about type one. So I'm giving the title as type one. And if we take in grant command means first in grant command we have given select privilege to Steve now. So now we are going to take back that select privilege from Steve. So I'm giving it as taking back select privilege from Steve. So the syntax for revoke command is revoke privilege name on object name from username. So this is the syntax for revoke command. So since we are going to take back select privilege from Steve, no, so instead of privilege name, I need to use select. Instead of object name, since we are going to take back the permission from Steve to access his employee table, no. So instead of object name, we need to use employee table. Instead of username, we need to use Steve. Before exiting this query, first we will check whether Steve can able to retrieve all the data from the employee tables through select command or not. If you want to retrieve all the data from employee table means the command is select the star from table name, and instead of table name I am using employee table. And now I'm executing this query. This query has to retrieve all the data from the employee table. Now I'm switching to local connection and I am executing this query. The query has been executed successfully. Now we have taken back the select privilege from Steve. Now we will check whether Steve can able to access the employee table or not. I'm executed this query, but in the output it is showing that select command is denied to the user Steve. Since we have taken back the permission from Steve to access his employee table through select command now. So that's why it is showing this error. So the type 1 is over. Now we will see the type 2 in revoke command. The type 2 in revoke command is taking back multiple privileges from the user. The syntax for taking back multiple privileges from the user is revoke privilege name 1, comma privilege name 2 on object name from username. Instead of privilege name, we can use any commands like create, select, insert, alter, delete, drop, truncate, update. And instead of object name, we need to use table name. And instead of username, we can give the user from who we are going to take back the permission. In our case, the username is Steve, and instead of object name, we need to give table name. No. So instead of table name, we need to give as employee table. Now I am switching to MySQL Workbench. Since I'm going to work with type 2 now, so I'm giving title as taking back multiple privilege from the user. In grant command, in type 2, we have given insert and update privilege to Steve node. So now we are going to take back the insert and update privilege from the Steve by using a revoke command. Syntax for taking back multiple privilege from the user is revoke privilege name 1, comma, privilege name 2, on object name from username. Since we are going to take back insert and update privilege from Steve node, so instead of privilege name 1, I am giving it as a insert command, and instead of privilege name 2, I am giving it as a update command, and instead of object name, I need to give as a employee table. Since we are going to take back permission from Steve node, so instead of username, I am giving it as Steve. Now I'm exiting this query. The query has been executed successfully. Now we have taken back insert and update privilege from Steve. We will check whether Steve can able to insert a data or update a data in the employee table. So if you want to insert data means we have already got that particular query. So I'm copying that query and I'm pasting it here. So if you want to insert data means the query is insert into table name, and instead of table name, I'm using employee table, and values, and 508 is employee ID. This is employee name and employee designation. So I'm trying to insert this particular data in this employee table. Now I'm exiting this query. In the output, we can clearly see it is showing error insert command is denied to user Steve. Since we have taken back permission from Steve to insert the data in the employee table, so that's why it is showing this error. Now we will check whether Steve can able to update the data in the employee table or not. So before updating the employee table, first we will check what are all the data that are present in employee table. So I am exiting this query. Now what we are going to do is we are going to try to update the Scott designation from senior software engineer to team leader. We will check whether we can able to update this data to team leader or not. So I'm switching to Steve connection. We have already entered the query to update the data. So I'm copying that query and I'm pasting it here. So for Scott only, we are going to change the designation of, so the Scott employee ID is 507, it is correct. But since we are going to change the designation to team leader, no. So instead of senior software engineer, I am entering it as a team leader. Now I'm exiting this query. Now in the output, we can clearly see it is showing error like update command is denied to user Steve. Since we have taken back update privilege also from Steve, no. So that's why he can't able to update data in the employee table. Now the type 2 is also over in a revoke command. Now we will see the type 3 in a revoke command. The type 3 in revoke command is taking back all privileges from the user. The syntax for taking back all privileges from the user is revoke all on object name from username. All means in one shot we are going to take back all privileges from particular user. If you have mentioned all means it will revoke all the privileges from particular user in one shot. So that's why we are giving all. Instead of object name, we need to give table name. Instead of username, we need to give the user from who we are going to take back the permission. In our case, the username is Steve, and instead of object name, we need to use employee table. I'm switching to MySQL Bench. Since I'm going to work with type 3 in revoke command, so I'm giving the title as taking back all privileges from the user. So the syntax for taking back all privileges from the user is revoke all on object name from username. So this is the syntax to take back all the privileges from the user. So instead of object name, we need to use employee table now. Instead of username, we need to use Steve. Now I'm executing this query. The query has been executed successfully. Now from Steve, we have taken back all privileges from Steve. Now he can't able to access or modify the employee table. We will check whether Steve can able to delete the data from the employee table or not. We have already written the query, so I'm copying that query and I'm pasting it here for deleting the data. So before deleting data, first we will check what are all the details that are present in employee table. Then we will delete a single data from the employee table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete Scott data from the employee table. The employee ID of Scott is 507. So, since the employee ID of Scott is 507, so I'm using that 507 here. Now I'm trying to delete the details of Scott from the employee table by executing this query. The query has been executed, and in the output we can clearly see it is showing like error. Delete command is denied to user Steve. Since we have taken back all privileges from Steve now, so he can't able to delete the data from the employee table. Now we can also check with other query like I will try to drop this particular employee table from the company database. So if you want to drop a table means the command we need to use is drop table name. So this is the command we need to use to drop a table. Instead of table name, I am using employee table. So I am exiting this query. And in the output, it is clearly showing that a drop command is denied to user Steve. Since we have taken back all privileges from Steve now, so that's why he can't able to modify the data and he can't able to access this particular employee table itself. We have taken all permission from Steve. Now he can't able to access and modify the employee table. So in this video, we have learned about the structure of the data control language, and we have learned about the what is meant by data control language, and we have seen about the commands in data control language. In data control language, there are two commands. The first one is grant command, and second one is revoke command. In grant command, through grant command only we can able to give permission. And in grant command, we got three types: giving single privilege to the user, giving multiple privilege to the user, giving all privilege to the user. We have seen all the three types. And after that, we have seen revoke command. Through revoke command only, we can able to take back the permission from Steve to access this particular employee table. And once the permission has been taken, means he can't able to access this table and modify the table. So in revoke command also, we got three types: taking back single privilege from the user, taking back multiple privileges from the user, taking back all privileges from the user. And we have seen all the three types also. So that's all for today's video, learners. If you have learned something valuable, means please hit that like button. And if you think this video is useful for your friends, means please share this video to them. And for more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. See you guys next video.